I just had a guy send me an email saying, Mike, all of my currency positions that I've had on now for several months, they're all profitable today. I love getting these kind of emails because for a couple of reasons. Number one, I love it when people profit, but more importantly, I love it when they profit for all the right reasons. And this was an example of all the right reasons. The guy employed very, very solid mental game. Now, he had many opportunities over the course of the last few months when we've had these positions on to prudently stop himself out with losses, okay? But he did not do that. He remained patient. He remained strong in the face of adversity and in the face of stressful conditions. He trusted. I don't talk a lot about trust, but it's part of my mental game system, which is PADDT: patience, alignment, detachment, discipline, and trust. Trust also you could supplement or exchange that for the word faith, and not in a religious sense, but faith in the approach that it does work. It's proven to work, and it works. So he applied these mental game principles. Many other people, nearly all people, would have stopped themselves out with a prudent loss. But that is loss taking. Okay, I don't know how many times I have to repeat this, and I'll keep repeating it. The reason why people lose is because they choose to lose. Now, this guy, he applied the mental game of patience, of detachment, of discipline, of alignment, of trust, and he came out with profitable positions, which is something that all of you are capable of doing. Whether or not you choose to do that, that's something I cannot control. Okay, I cannot control. Just like I've used the example so many times of the Navy SEAL program and how they want guys to quit. Those classes, some of those classes start off with 250 people that whittle them down to maybe 15, 16 guys in the end. And those are the people, not necessarily the strongest, not necessarily the most athletic, not necessarily the biggest or the fastest, but simply the ones who do not quit, who say to themselves, I can do, another rep. I can run another quarter mile. I could swim, or I could stay in the freezing cold water for another 15 minutes. And just, everybody has that ability to go just a little bit more. And once you've gone just that much more, no matter how small, no matter how incremental, you could say to yourself again, I could go a little bit more. That's what patience is all about. So I'm very, very happy for this guy. And this guy is going to go on to be very, very successful. Now, I have other people, and it's very, very obvious to me now, or it becomes obvious to me pretty early on when people come to me for help or advice or subscription or whatever, because from the comments, from the email exchanges, from the messaging, whatever, sometimes telephone calls, I hear it. I hear it in their words. I hear it in their comments. They are already setting themselves up for failure, and usually that failure comes as a result of quitting or blaming someone else or something else, blaming the system. Mike, your timing's no good, or something like that. Or having unrealistic expectations, like starting off with a very little bit of money because they don't have money, and then wanting a lot of money very fast. It's not going to work. That's gambling, okay? I had a guy who came to me, very nice guy. He found me last year, I think through the videos. And, he had a little bit of a rocky past. He was into real estate, and, that blew up in the crash. And, out of that, he came to me already with a lot of excuses, blaming the banks, blaming the government. He's in a new business now, but he found me, started trading Forex, went very, very well. Was telling me, hey, this has transformed my life. I wake up every day. I'm so happy. I'm enthused. I look forward to the day. First time in my life it has ever been like that. Then he went through a rocky period. Unfortunately, one of those periods had to do with that British pound flash crash where he was overloaded. That happens with new guys. You got to, adjust to the approach. You have to adjust to the methodology. Some of you in the beginning got a little bit too overexposed. Some of you caught yourself and pulled back and understand that. But then it was like, oh, I'm never going to make enough money with this. I only have a little bit. It's not my fault if you only have a little bit. Everything has to start out somewhere. If you take 1 penny and you double it every day, in 30 days, you have a few $1,000,000. That's starting with 1 penny. Now, of course, the growth is not, you're not doubling your money every single day, but that compounding of interest, that compounding of profits, that adds up. And it was clear to me, it became clear to me several months ago when I had a conversation with this individual that they were setting themselves up to quit. That the problem was, the government's attacking his business or the banks are screwed up and they gave him the shaft job, which may be true, but again, blaming others and not focusing on yourself and not being realistic about the situation, that you only have a little bit of money to start off with. But is that worse? And by the way, this person came to me and said, look, the only reason I'm doing this is because I just want to make more than the interest I earned in the bank, which he did 100-fold, okay, if not more. But then that wasn't good enough. So it's a penchant to self-sabotage. I see it. Any discussion about success, any personal story about success, forget about mine, forget about what I do. It could be in any venture, in any endeavor. It doesn't have to be in trading. It could be just in life. The people who have made it, the people who grasped and embraced what it took to succeed, they will all say the same thing. And I'm sorry if your eyes glaze over, some of you, and say, what is this, like a motivational video chat? Well, yeah, okay, because it's all the same principles. It doesn't matter if you're trading. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete. It doesn't matter if you're a professional fighter. It doesn't matter if you're a freaking dentist. It's all the same thing. If you want to excel, if you want to achieve, if you want to be successful, there are only a few principles, and they're the same principles that apply in every single endeavor in life. If you want to just succeed in life, I don't care what your freaking occupation is, the same principle. It's commitment, it's discipline, it's work, it's trust, it's being realistic. And it is not quitting, okay? It is not quitting. You quit, you lose. Very simple. You quit, you lose. Every single person who watches this today can start on the path to success. But how many of you really want it? That's why I say so many times this exposes you. The beauty of this, like the beauty of anything really, really hard, like that Navy SEAL training or fighting. You like getting punched in the face? Most people don't like getting punched in the face. Champions, they realize that's part of the game. You're going to get punched in the face a lot. But that is something you have to deal with. Now, in our occupation here, we don't get physically harmed. We don't get punched in the face. But that stress, that anxiety, that emotional torture sometimes that you have to go through, that sometimes feels worse than sometimes I'd like to get punched in the face. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but man, sometimes I'd rather substitute what I'm feeling in the market for getting punched in the face. Really. But you got to take it. You got to take it. All right? I mean, it's very simple. The bottom line. And there's no panacea. There's no shortcut, right? Bruce Lee. No way is way. He was already describing that. Embrace the hardship. Grind through it. That's the shortcut. That is the shortcut. The avoidance of that takes you on a path to ruin, takes you on a path at best of mediocrity, where you really, you're going to give up because you're going to end up like that guy. It's not worth it. So that's what it's all about. The shortcut is the hard stuff. That is the shortcut. And the ones who leave and say, this is not my style. That cracks me up. What is your style? Your style then is losing, because every single closed out trade here that we have done has been a profit. So if you say that's not my style, you could basically restate that as saying profitability is not my style. You have already exposed yourself. Losing is your style. There's no shortcut. Oh, I got to find the exact timing, Mike. Then I'll be fine. I can't. Your timing's off. Every single trade is a profit. And everyone, starting today, has that chance to make that happen for them. But the question is, do you want it? Do you want it? And many of you, you fool yourself. You're not honest with yourself. Remember Bruce Lee again. What is martial arts? The true expression of oneself. You're not honest. You say you want it, but you don't really want it, because the minute you are faced with adversity, the minute you are faced with hardship, I got to do something. I got to stop myself out. Stop losses are for losers. The perfect system is the search for the Holy Grail. The hard stuff is the shortcut. A lot of people can't handle it. A lot of people can't handle it. And they'll come to trading and think, this is where I'm going to make my fortune, and this is going to be awesome, and I'm going to have all this money, and I'm going to have all this freedom, and it's going to be exciting and everything. It might be exciting, but it's exciting in the wrong way. I think most of you who have been with me for a while, you could understand that. The highs are very high, and the lows are very low. And the lows are more often, we feel those more often than we feel the highs. The highs feel great, but the lows feel like they're there all the time. And they are there all the time. I say this, the only easy trade was the one you just closed out. I've been doing this for almost 40 years. Every single trade I get into, it's grinding my stomach into a knot. It never went away, this feeling, and it's not going to go away. I understand that now. And no system in the world is going to take that away from you and pick you up in a ball of cotton and carry you across the finish line and give you what you want. If you quit, it is done. If you make excuses and put blame on other things and you don't have enough money, it's not enough money for you, it's not coming fast enough, you are done. You are done. That's immature. All right? So, but then there's some of you who I'm very, very, very impressed by. Really, really am. I mean, there's a group in here. There's some people in here, amazing, tough, committed, not quitters, open-minded, intelligent, thoughtful, curious, strong. It's amazing. I love it. All right, that's my talk for now. Bye.